This is a video about how to make a face mask with very little waste. So it's for a shaped face mask that will wrap around the nose nicely, as you can see. The pattern pieces, you can see it right here. We are using a dart for the nose and a dart for the chin. And this angled line will hit right under the eyes and then go back towards the ears. We have nested the pieces together like this, so you can see that there are multiple pieces that fit really well together as you're cutting it out. You will see if you look at the pattern that what the measurements are. To make it, it's also very easy to draft. Here we would have the fold edge of the fabric, and we could cut multiple layers. The only waste, as you can see, is the cutouts for the darts. If you have a lightweight fabric, you don't necessarily have to cut it out, but it will be a little easier to sew with these pieces cut out, so it eliminates a lot of the waste. Now, to sew this piece, this face mask, we need the outside fabric. We need a lining fabric. The lining fabric is cut a little shorter on each side so that you can fit a filter inside the mask. First step is to fold the fabric's right sides together, both the lining and the outside piece. We're going to stitch where the darts are. So if you look at these pieces, I have stitched right here at 1/4 inch. I used black thread so that you could see it easily. So here's 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch for the nose and the chin. And the same thing for the outside. I place right sides together, stitch at 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch. After I've done that, I'm going to fold this edge under. So I've folded it at 1/2 inch back for the lining and stitched in the middle at 1/4 inch. Same thing on the other side, folded at 1/2 and stitched at 1/4 inch. That's my inside piece. For the outside piece, I have folded just a little bit, as little as I can, 1/8 inch, and stitched right along that edge. It will just make it a little easier in the next step. Once we've done that, we're going to place these two pieces together. At this point, I would use an iron, press my darts so that they lay nice and smooth, and then line them up with each other. So here you can see I start lining the darts up at the center and then stitch at the top edge, and then do the same thing for the bottom edge. You can see here how I've done that. So I've stitched at 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch all the way around at the top and the bottom. Before I turn it, you can see that there's a little bit of an angle here because of the dart. So what I've done is I have clipped here for the curve. That will allow my fabric to go around that curve. So now when I turn it inside out, it'll be easier. We have one more step to do if you want to include a wire. So I have placed a wire on the seam allowance of the outside fabric. So you can see this is my stitch and there's my seam allowance. I have zigzagged across a twist tie that's about 3 inches long. Between 2.5 and 3 inches long to go across the nose will help your mask fit a little more snug. It has pretty good shape on this pattern even without it, but if you have a metal wire, you can place it there. Next thing, we turn it right side out fold all your lining to the back. Seam allowance inside, nice and clean. Now the next step is to press this. So you can see, I've prepared this piece a little bit more. I have pressed these edges nice. So to hold that wire a little bit better in place, I have added a top stitch around this part. So inside here I have my wire. If I top stitch this at about 1/4 inch, it will enclose the wire and it will keep the two layers of fabric together nicely. So when I fold it, they stay together. Once we've done that, we only have one step left, and that is these little ties for the ear. So to do that, I am just going to take this side and fold it like this. I want to enclose my cord like this. So I lay the cord inside my folded piece. So I've pressed this. It makes it a little easier when I'm going to stitch. And now when I take it to the machine, I can just place an edge stitch right here. Make sure I don't catch the cord, and it will look like this. So inside here I have my cord. It's going to go around the ears. I'm just tying a knot here. That way the wearer, the person that uses the mask, can adjust it to their size. So that is the tie for the ear. And once I've done that to the other side, it's done. I can fold it with the little wire and it will stay nice in place. So that is our shaped mask with ear straps and all.